Across Turtle Island, now known as North America, Indigenous women entrepreneurs are creating powerful businesses that honor ancestral wisdom while embracing innovation.
So I create fashion that is comfortable, stylish, and that honors the planet.
At Rise, we support communities by amplifying their interests and needs with corporate Canada.
I create skincare that helps people, not only for themselves, but also for their children.
I support communities by helping them get in touch with their most powerful sense of agency.
Many Indigenous-led enterprises have embodied B Corp values long before they ever heard of such certifications, naturally aligning community care, sustainability, and respect for the land within their business models.
When I decided to create my company, I decided that I wanted to be a CEO that created an impact versus a CEO that had just cash in my pocket.
I think you'll find with Indigenous people, we tend to be very community focused. So when we start businesses, the first thing is, how does this integrate into the community? How is this going to give back to the community?
Come with us as we journey across North America to explore how traditional Indigenous principles could guide us all toward a more harmonious future. This deep connection to the land finds expression in Winnipeg, where an Indigenous woman entrepreneur weaves textures into sustainable fashion.
The way I started my company was I used to be a contemporary dancer. We were dancing in polyester, and we all know how polyester doesn't breathe, it's uncomfortable. So I started making these costumes for my friends. So my name is Andréane Muller-Dandenot. I am a Red River Métis from Manitoba, Treaty 1. We were brought up very connected to the planet, hence why I started my business with a big sustainable focus. So right now I'm looking at creating a new cape for our zero waste program. This is pieces that we have from our fall collection. And I decided to do a mental cape because for Métis people, we used to do a lot of, we wear capes. With the B Corp, one of our projects is to weigh the waste that we have and try to reduce how much fabric that we throw out to the landfill. Hey, Papa, what are we doing for our fall collection, our fall-winter collection? Like, what design are we thinking? Okay, let's try. I want to see.
My preference is always trying to connect it to our heritage.
Yeah.
So the Métis and the First Nations, the birch tree.
My parents told me when I started the company, they said, what kind of designer do you want to be? Because they kind of knew where this would go in the fashion industry. And I said, well, I really want to reduce waste. Like I was not here for making money. I was here to really create an impact. So they said, okay, so you're here, you're a CEO of impact versus a CEO of cash. I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And then they also said, remember where you come from. Alors, voici ma maman. Here's my mom, because her mom is Huguette Muller, and our Métis ancestor is Catherine Muller.
And she just loved to do embroideries. So, of course, these were flowers that she would have seen in the fields.
I really took her spirit, and the reason why I have pieces that have either the full modernized embroidery or my dad kind of simplified another version of the Métis of her vine, is to really keep her spirit alive in my company. And that is, for me, paying homage to Catherine Muller and everything that she brought to me, because I am a descendant of her. So,
and now with these, which are from 1800s, we have changed, we have adapted, but yet her spirit is there because these kids, they have roots. They know what their roots are. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
when I design, I have made my mission to always start with the end life. How is it going to be discarded at the end, and what am I leaving in the land? we created a program called Return to Nature, where we have 6 programs that creates a circular life cycle for our garment. One of the programs is called a resale. Another program is called the Zero Waste. And then we also have a Revive program, which is creating new garments from upcycled pieces. To the last step of a production cycle, we ship also every order in a compostable mailer. For me, what's important is that my staff is happy when they come to work, that they feel seen, they feel respected, they have good pay, that my customers love what we do. Like, those are my values, and that's my success. For us, B Corp was really good to put everything in place in processes and actually tighten up our policies and also to show the world that we are a small company but doing huge impact. And that for me was very, very important.
Respect for tradition and ancestral wisdom guides the next phase of enterprise, shaping decisions with reverence for the past and responsibility for the future. In Fernie, Canada, an Indigenous entrepreneur is fostering truth and reconciliation across communities.
Often we hear in community that we're standing on the shoulders of giants, and I believe that and I feel that. It's really a visceral experience for me often as I lead this work, as I see individuals that I'm asked to support or walk beside have a transformational moment, a learning moment where they think, I see that I have agency, I have influence, I want to be part of this work, Annie. And I give thanks to Grandma and her family, her parents, your grandparents.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
My name is Annie Corver, and I am a proud citizen of the Métis Nation. I am the founder and principal at Rise Consulting. I am a mother, a daughter, a sister, an auntie, and I make my home in Tanaha territory. We're surrounded by nature. We spend so much time on the land. The mountains are my medicine, and I use that language, that being here and being able to roll out on our bikes on the trail is really meaningful for us, and they're building that connection as well. As a boutique consultancy, as we get to know nations and their distinct interests and needs, we can work with corporate Canada, with our clients, to help them move into right relation, to support the interests and needs of nations, of communities, of individuals. Yeah, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about call to action number 92 and where it fits in with the call from Indigenous peoples to corporate Canada. And when we're explaining to someone what truth and reconciliation is or could be, it's around righting wrongs and bringing equality to a space that is not equal. And when we sit in circle, essentially no one voice is more powerful than the other, and so we pass the feather from person to person, or we pass the talking stick essentially, and the person that's holding it has the opportunity to speak and everyone else listens. It's those moments where I'm with organizations that you see that small transformation, and it's these small ripples that they create a bigger movement or a bigger wave over time, and that we rely on them. Going through the B Corp certification process and being in the level program, just like when I work with clients, I know where they're going. And it's my job to coach and mentor them on their journey as they advance truth and reconciliation. And with the B Corp process and becoming certified, it was the same, because every time I leaned in a little bit more, I could see the intersection between why B Corp exists and the alignment with what we were doing with purpose and impact.
Truth and reconciliation work fosters growth in the ways communities honor the past, show up in the present, and foster our future. By honoring ancestral spirits and mobilizing the talents and leadership of Indigenous people, this Montana entrepreneur empowers women and builds resilient, human-centered communities through collaborative planning and facilitation.
So we're in South Central Montana, and we are not in an environment that has abundant resources, support for, or an environment that fosters many businesses.
Hang on, just crank it up. Hey, hang on, guys.
However, the spirit of desire to do meaningful things and to provide for ourselves and provide for our families and our community things that we really need, it exists. When you think about what it took for you to find what you needed to start your recreational boating business, what was that starting point for you?
Getting over that fear of not charging enough, but then I think once we had been out here on the water enough times, realizing how special this place is, how special this whole spot is. There's not another place like this in the world. And
it's the women who are really tied in with the absolute necessity to keep picking yourself up and keep moving forward.
Thank you for coming to Mighty View.
Balase Lesley Kabotie, B Batchaje Kogagawa. My name is Lesley Kabotie. I am from the Mighty View District on the Crow Reservation. Well, welcome everybody for coming. You see these name tents here. My husband and I have a business called Indigenous Collaboration, and we began this business out of response to a need across our tribal communities. What would you say is the significance of Native women becoming entrepreneurs? And what's the secret sauce that Native women add to the landscape of enterprise?
I think about that question a lot because of that DNA that's instilled in us, that we're a part of our community, that we have a role to play in the betterment of our people. And even a coffee shop, a fashion designer, a retail business, an Indian relay, all of the same. The thing that makes us all the same is that we're all a part of our community, and there's nothing greater than seeing our people feel proud and good and walking into places and feel powerful and being able to speak and represent themselves and also be dressed really well.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
And be looking the best.
There is such an incredible depth of talent among our tribal people. Hi. Good.
You got some new purses you might be interested in.
What? Oh my goodness.
That one's pretty.
Yeah. Theo Hugs, who has a storefront in Crow Agency and is one of maybe two enterprises operating on the reservation that are not either owned or operated by the tribe, but that are woman-owned. Wow. Oh my goodness.
She's an expert at making L2 stresses.
Mm-hmm. Theo has been in this space for decades and has been an inspiring leader herself and her family and in the community for a very long time. Hey! How's it going?
Good, how are you today?
I'm good. How's biz?
It's good.
Tana is a young woman who just started a coffee shop, which everybody drinks coffee. Thank you.
Welcome.
To have a storefront on the reservation is very challenging, and it's a micro business with great aspirations. We'll circle back.
Yeah, we'll circle back.
All right. Okay.
See ya.
See ya.
Have a good day.
You too. I think what brings me the most joy is witnessing how transformational it is when our people are in dialogue with their own history, the complexities of their own current situation, but get deeply in touch with their dreams and aspirations for the future. Velma Pickett, who has an Indian relay team. It's a sport that has emerged out of hundreds of years of athleticism and love of horses, and we are an equine people.
The credit goes to Lesley and her ability to use her words in a good way to bring us together to have a plan to move forward.
Lesley has done so much for our community. She's done so much strategic planning over the past 5-6 years that has involved our young people, and they get a say in their own future. And I just can't wait to see what's next.
We learned about the B Corp designation being values-driven and providing the protections around the mission and the purpose. We were all in, baby. We were like, finally, something has evolved that makes sense to allow you to interact and participate in commerce without having to abandon your values and your decision-making around the impacts and implications of choices that you make that are more tied with the social good or the environment or whatever. And then when we found out that everybody who's the B Corp is part of the hive, I was like, I'm in, baby. I want to be a part of the hive. I want to be a part of the queen bee in my own business.
This Indigenous community-first enterprise shows that embracing B Corp values beyond consulting and mentorship, small businesses can thrive on their own terms while staying true to their identities. In Vancouver, BC, another Indigenous entrepreneur is healing her community both out of necessity and intention.
My little girl, she was 8 months old. She developed eczema. So I took her in to see the doctor, and the doctor said the only option was steroid creams. I know that steroids aren't necessarily the best for everyone, certainly not in the long term, and definitely not for infants. So I bought a crock pot off of Facebook, used for $15, and went ahead and used my research, looked at academic studies, traditional medicine. I looked at the existing medical research, combined that all into this little crock pot, and created something that ended up clearing up my daughter Esme's eczema in just 2 days. My name is Patrice Mousseau. I am the CEO of Satya Organics. My mom and father is Leo and Ellen. My grandfather is Romeo, my grandmother Monica, and my great-grandmother is Antoinette, and my daughter is Esme. I'm a member of Fort William First Nation, and I grew up in Treaty 3 in Sioux Lookout. I came across the name Satya, and it's an Indian philosophy of truth. Not just literal truth, but like a higher truth, like what it is to be a good person. What is it to have a good life? What are, why are we here? Those sorts of things. So I saw that as a North Star for my company, and it just resonated with me. This is the calendula flowers that we use in our formulation. These are actual flowers, not extracts. So we put those directly into our oils and infuse them versus using a chemical process. And this is, of course, organic beeswax. Everything we use is organic. So you're getting the full benefit and complexity of that plant. And that is, that's a very traditional way of looking at medicine. We want to use all of the most premium, the best ingredients out there. Like, it had to be the best because I literally created this for my little girl, and nothing has changed since then. So what these are small tins that we actually fill with some Satya and put it into compostable material so that we can use these as samples versus, some plastic sachet or something. These are actually a great way to get people to try this without producing more waste. For me, we have this one planet. We are in relationship with it. These trees are our family. These rocks are our grandparents. These animals are our cousins. Like, this is who we are. So, doing things like trying to find better packaging, you just have to look and be committed to doing better. Philanthropic giving does not have to mean capital. If somebody calls me and says, I need your advice, or I've got a bunch of students that need you to talk to them, or I just sent some product up to far northern Quebec, right, to a small school. That kind of stuff is no-brainers, and again, that's not really something that we normally track, but B Corp is helping. I think you'll find with Indigenous people and, with all really BIPOC, Black and Brown people, we tend to be very community focused. So when we start businesses, the first thing is, how does this integrate into the community? And I've always said, I wanted to grow up to be a B Corp because I had seen these other people and what they were doing. I knew that we were doing everything that we needed to score really high on the B Corp, but the paperwork was just so onerous, and it was just something that we tried twice, we just couldn't do. And it wasn't until the Level program that we were actually able to get our certification and join this community. So even though you are a small business, you do need that kind of support. You do deserve to be there. We need you to be a part of this so that we can grow this together and we can start shaping the future of B Corp.
These Indigenous women entrepreneurs are leading a business revolution grounded in values that have sustained their communities for generations. And what's striking is how each of these entrepreneurs measures success differently than conventional businesses.
I want to show my daughter that you can keep your values and continue to run a very ethical business.
Everybody has their success, and for me, I am so proud of this, and I want to keep going.
The B Corp is a pathway to get off the capitalism train where you're chasing the almighty dollar, and to really be able to be in an enterprise environment where your identity, your values, your history, and your context matters.
The Level program has played a crucial role in making B Corp certification more accessible to marginalized women entrepreneurs, the women who seek to meet the needs of their communities, fulfill the deferred dreams of their ancestors, and who envision a future where equity and access are available to all.
We got it to the program of Level. And with that program, they assigned us with a company that helped us go through the whole process of B Corp.
And having someone in the Level program come alongside us and really help navigate that when we are a small team, it was so significant.
We need you to be a part of this so that we can grow this together and we can start shaping the future of B Corp.
There's a place for everyone within the B Corp community, a community that can only grow and be a collective force for good when all voices, cultures, experiences, and perspectives are welcome.
Since we've had B Corp, it has opened the door to more opportunities, and we're in a different level. We're in a level that competes with bigger brands and bigger companies.
I feel like the B Corp is a pathway where our values can be running in tandem with our enterprises.
Then you place yourself in community with other B Corps who are advancing a future to support good. You know, that gives you hope, that gives you energy.
You can see people when you say that you're a B Corp, their eyes get bigger. And it's literally been a dream of mine, and it's finally here.